Does Social Security need saving? Providing for retirees throughout the 21st century. By Dimitri Papadimitriou and L. Randall Wray. A demand-constrained economy. A demand-constrained economy operates with substantial excess capacity. Any type of spending can raise demand, stimulate output, and raise economic growth, which in turn will encourage investment and thus raise potential output. Increasing investment alone may not work in a demand-constrained economy because the investment may just lead to more excess capacity. It may be better to stimulate other non-investment spending, which then creates private incentive to invest. Government spending, even if it is deficit financed, will raise demand and thus stimulate investment. On the other hand, a government surplus actually hinders demand by taxing more than it spends and reduces growth. If our economy is demand constrained, then accumulating a trust fund would depress growth unless the balance were offset by a deficit on the rest of the government's budget. A pay-as-you-go Social Security system would be preferable to an advanced funded system for any demand-constrained economy. One could even argue that OASDI deficits in the future would be good precisely because they would stimulate demand. However, for the reasons we examined above, it is better to leave such aggregate demand stimulation to the rest of the government's budget. This should be a matter for general budget policy rather than for a particular government program. Is our economy demand constrained or supply constrained? We believe that, on balance, the evidence is that our economy is usually demand constrained. We expect that in coming years, demand constraints will be even worse than they have been since 1973. As evidence, we point to chronic downsizing of firms, falling commodity prices, stagnant intermediate goods prices, high unemployment rates in most of the world, and unused capacity throughout the world. The after effects of the Asian crisis, still threatening Latin America, Europe, and the United States, are in part due to excess capacity and inadequate world demand. We see little reason to fear, at least in the near future, that a constraint will arise from insufficient capacity. Finally, in our judgment, it makes little difference for the debate over Social Security reform whether our economy is supply constrained or demand constrained. A pay-as-you-go system is preferred in either case. Achieving faster economic growth is a matter of good fiscal and monetary policy and is not the responsibility of OASDI. Thus, whether we need to stimulate demand or supply, there is no justification for accumulating vast Social Security reserves.